You are listening to the Empowered Business Podcast. I'm your host, Monica Froese, a mom of two and your secret weapon to creating a six-figure digital product business. I'm on a mission to help 1,000 women make $100,000 a year. That's right, $100 million towards financial independence for women. As an online business expert, I am teaching you everything I know right here week after week, so you can join us on the journey to $100 million. Sound good? Then let's jump in. Welcome back to the Empowered Business Podcast. Today is a follow-up episode to episode 30, where I told you all about our first six-figure launch that happened in April of 2021. I'll make sure to link to episode 30 in the show notes so you can get the entire backstory on what we are going to talk about today. But I'll quickly give you a recap so we are on the same page for today's episode. In 2020, I retired my signature course on Pinterest advertising and pivoted my business to help women create financial independence by creating six-figure digital product businesses. This meant launching an entirely new brand, Empowered Business, along with an entirely new program suite. The main focus for 2021 has been on the Empowered Business Lab, which is our 6-month program that empowers you to create a profitable digital product sales machine. It's a complete solution for creating, strategizing, building, and of course, selling your digital products. Now, we entered 2021 committed to live launching 4 times. Now, for anyone new to online business, live launching refers to a short period of time where the sales cart for a program will open. It usually means there will be an urgency in price savings or a special offer on the program. Typically, it's paired with a live event, such as a series of trainings, or what a lot of people refer to as a challenge. Now, in episode 30, I broke down our first 2 live launches for 2021 that happened in January and April. The TLDR, as they like to say, for those launches are as follows. So, in January 2021, we ran what I call the Founders Round for the Empowered Business Lab program. The benefit of the founding member round for students is that you get to have a say in how the program rolls out, and you get a lot of access to the program creator, which is me, but it was also done in a condensed time frame of 3 months. The January launch finished at $91,207 in gross revenue. Now, in April, we launched the program officially out into the world for its intended 6-month length, and the price went from $997 to $1997. The April launch finished at $101,233 in gross revenue. Both of these launches were a free challenge model. We hosted a free 3-day training called the Digital Product Dash with a free pop-up Facebook group where participants had access to me and my team. Now, for this episode, I want to focus on what happened during our 3rd launch of the year in August 2021. At the end of the launch in April, we debriefed about what we wanted to do differently for the August launch, and there were 4 things at the time that we identified. The first was more engaged and better leads. So our conversion rate in January was 2.26%, and in April, it dropped to 1.16%, womp womp, which means we didn't do as good of a job attracting the right people to the Digital Product Dash training in April as we did in January. The second thing we debriefed about after April was potentially doing a paid live training experience. So one way we hope to increase engagement and get better qualified leads was by hosting the first ever Passion to Profit experience, which wasn't going to be a free training, but a paid training. The third thing that we wanted to do after our April launch before August was work on our content strategy and our exposure between launches. So building a new program from scratch makes it really hard to be present for my wider community and to attract new people to me. We've really stepped up our game between April and August in a few ways. We have opened a free Facebook group called Digital Product Insiders. I've been more active on Instagram and networking a lot more with people in the DMs. Speaking of which, if you want to talk to me on Instagram, you can find us at monica.froese. And we also have this podcast up and running, and we are steadily growing our listener base every single week. Now, the fourth thing we wanted to work on before August was engaging our affiliates. So having current or past students recommend your program is one of the best ways to reach new people. There's no better way to show the value of your program than someone yelling from the rooftop how it helped them. So those are the things we were focused on going into the August launch. By far, the most important thing that was on that list was that we moved from a free live challenge to a paid live experience. Now, this is huge for a lot of reasons, but let me give you three main reasons. One, we had no data to benchmark how many people we could expect to pay us for a live training because we have never done a live launch where they paid even to get access to the training that would pitch the program that we really wanted to sell. The second thing was we knew by making it a paid experience, we would attract more qualified people for the program, and we hoped that that would dramatically increase our conversion rates. And the third reason is while I know evolving and trying new things in online business is extremely critical for success, it is still scary leaving a big piece of your overall goal for the year, like overall revenue goal for the year, in the hands of a brand new experiment. So let's talk about what the Passion to Profit experience was. The experience was an 8-day live experience where participants had access to me and my team in a private Facebook group, and it included several things. Daily email lessons. It included a networking meet and greet, 3 days of live valuable training directly from me. We did a live face-to-face Q&A on Zoom, so people could actually ask me their questions face-to-face and converse with me. And then we also did a live bonus training where I selected someone's digital product topic and did a real-life product mapping for them. Now, at the end of the third day of live trainings, we opened the cart to the Empowered Business Lab. The open cart lasted from Thursday to Monday. So basically, the cart opened on what was the fourth day of the experience, and it closed on the 8th day, going over a weekend. Now, the experience sold for $19 with the option to get lifetime access to the training videos for $39. Usually, when someone signs up for one of our free trainings, we offer a lower priced entry-level product to them after they sign up called the Digital Product Launchpad. Now, the whole purpose of offering this for sale is to offset paid advertising costs for leads into the free training. But since the experience was a paid event, we used the ticket sales from that to offset ad costs. So our initial goal for the experience was 450 people, but it was really a shot in the dark. We had no idea what to expect, and we ended up selling 189 tickets. And I can tell you that Facebook ads were not on our side as like they were in previous launches. So basically, all of the ticket sales for the experience came from our warm email list, which isn't a bad thing because, as I mentioned earlier, one of our big initiatives between the April and August launch was to set up our content game so that we were attracting more people to us. Now, between ticket sales and lifetime upgrades for the training videos, we made $5,535 on the Passion to Profit experience. We spent a total of $5,185 on Facebook ads to attract people to the experience. And unfortunately, that only led to 16 sales, which means we paid a whopping $324 a lead. Truly, that is terrible, to be honest. But it was an experiment, and I was fine spending what we made in ticket sales to test this new way of doing our new launch. So really, it was a wash. What we made in ticket sales, we spent in Facebook ads. Now, I am an ads person, so I can get pretty nerdy about this topic, so I won't go into extreme detail here. But basically, the iOS 14 updates combined with the fact that my Facebook purchase pixel struggles with optimizing for purchases are why our ads didn't perform very well. So my Facebook pixel is used to optimizing for leads because I usually run paid traffic to free trainings. This time, we were set up to optimize for purchases for the ticket sales, and it didn't work out too well. So you better bet a big initiative of ours now is to build our purchase Facebook pixel between launches. Now, back to launch numbers. As I said, what we made in the Passion to Profit ticket sales basically washed out our ad spend for the launch. So we did enter the launch for the Empowered Business Lab sales with no ad spend attributed against our final numbers. So now I am going to drop a really big bomb on you. The gross revenue for the lab in August was $56,305. Yikes. That is a far cry from the 101,000 in April. Yeah. So you're probably thinking, wow, this paid training model didn't work out too hot for you, Monica, right? I mean, right? Our goal was 125,000. Our stretch was 150,000. $150,000. So yeah, I'd say on the surface, this doesn't sound too great. And I can't say I wasn't disappointed at all. I mean, of course I was. But as I always say, I don't do failure. And by that, I don't mean I never fail. I fail all the time, but it's what you do with that failure that matters. We didn't get the numbers we wanted, but we did get, as I like to say, a crap ton of data to use for our next launch. And when you look at the data, it tells a very interesting story. So, do you want to hear about what we learned from the data? I'm going to assume so because you're still here listening. So let's talk about one of my favorite topics, conversion rates. Oh yeah, conversion rates are the lifeblood of a live launch. But Monica, what in the world is a conversion rate? Well, I'm so glad you asked. It is the percentage of people who saw an offer and decided to take you up on that offer. So in other words, how many of those 189 people who bought tickets to the Passion to Profit experience went on to buy the Empowered Business Lab? Let me tell you, 18%. Now, is that good or bad? Let's put that in context from our previous launches. Remember, in January and April, we ran a free challenge training model. The participants had no stake in the game because they didn't pay to be there like they did for the Passion to Profit experience. And because of that, we already knew free leads were going to be less qualified. Plus, you're dealing with much larger numbers because people sign up for free stuff and don't have to be concerned about actually participating if they don't want to. So in January, we had 4,026 signups and a 2.26% conversion rate. In April, we had 3,874 people sign up and a very sad 1.16% conversion rate, even though in April we had our biggest launch. So think about this. We went from 2.26% of people who signed up in January went on to buy, down to 1.16% of people who signed up in April went on to buy, but yet 18% of people who signed up for the experience joined in August. So what does this mean? It means that the paid to profit experience, the paid version, did exactly what we wanted it to do. It brought in more qualified leads. Now, the next time we run the experience live, we need to back into how many people we need to buy a ticket to the experience based on what we want our revenue to be. So I know you might not like math, but follow me here. This is why conversion rates and experimenting with different live launching models or just different models in general are so important. If I want to make $150,000 on our next launch, how many tickets do I need to sell to the experience, assuming 18% of those people will go on to buy the lab? So here's how we figure this out. First, we need to figure out how many sales make up $150,000. I am going to use the price point of $14.97 because that's typically our early bird pay in full, which brings in the majority of our revenue. So this isn't going to be perfect because we do have multiple price points and we have payment plans. But if we want to get a gross of $150,000, it's a safe bet to say, let's divide that out by $14.97. So we take $150,000, divide by $14.97, and that means 100 people need to buy at that price point. Now, if we assume 18% of Passion to Profit experience ticket holders will convert, how many tickets do we need to aim to sell for the experience? This is like my fourth grader's homework. So the algebra equation to figure this out is X times 0.18, which is the 18%, equals 100. Now, seriously, if you hated algebra in school, put that into Google and Google will give you the answer. That's actually what I did. I could have done it longhand because I really do like algebra, but I put it into Google. And Google told me that the answer is 555 tickets need to be sold. Okay, so we sold 189 tickets in August, and if I want to hit 150,000 in revenue for our next launch, assuming the majority of people will buy at $14.97, I need to sell 555 tickets. Okay, let's do the same exercise for the 2.26% conversion rate in January from the free training. So I still need those 100 people to buy at $14.97 to reach that $150,000 goal, but the equation changes. The equation now is X times 0.0226, which is that percentage rate, equals 100. Again, I put that into Google, and the answer we would need is 4,424 people need to sign up for the free training to reach 150,000. So, you know what? On the surface, this would appear that we should go back to the free training model. Okay, so think about this. We sold 189 tickets to the paid experience and would now need to sell 555 tickets to reach our revenue goal. We got 4,026 people to sign up in January, and based on that conversion rate, would only need to get to 4,424 people to hit the increased number of 150,000. Now, aside from the fact that April's conversion rate tanked to 1.16% from that 2.26% in January, there is another story to tell, and that is engagement. So here's really the question. How many people showed up live and participated in the free training versus the paid trainings? Well, I'm so glad you asked, because you better bet I have those numbers too. In January, the show up live rate was 9.98% on the day I pitched the lab for sale. So that's the third day of the training, is the day that I opened the lab sales cart and that we announced early bird. So out of the people who signed up for the free training in January, 9.98%. So let's just say 10% of people showed up for that live training. Now in April, the show up live rate was half, 4.94%. So basically 5% on that pitch day. But in August, the show up live rate for pitch day was 30.69%. So 3 times the amount of people signed up. So that means in August, 3 times as many participants showed up live on pitch day than in January. So can I just say I'm very thankful I liked math in school? I really did. I loved algebra. I could go on forever about that. I also have my MBA in finance, so please keep that in mind. Not everyone's going to love numbers like this, but now that I've walked you through these equations, just go back and listen to this episode when you're doing your own launch debriefs and do exactly what I told you to do, because I promise this is going to help you make better decisions. So the questions to ask myself now become this. There's really 4 core questions I have to ask myself. The first is, do I think an 18% conversion rate for the paid experience is realistic to maintain? So do I think if we did get the 555 people to sign up on our next launch, do I think 18% of them would convert like they did this time? Because remember, the conversion rate from January to April basically got cut in half. The second question I need to consider is, do I think I can even sell 555 tickets to the paid experience? The third question I need to ask myself is, do I think that showing up live is a considerable, important indicator as to who will buy? And the fourth question is, do I think I can get my Facebook purchase pixel to perform better than it did in August? The true answer is, I don't know to any of these questions. What I do know is that I won't find out if I don't move forward and keep trying. And all data is good data. The more times I try, the more data I will get, and the more informed my decisions become as time moves on. In fact, this was the biggest struggle my students had with Pinterest ads. There is rarely a very clear answer as to what you should do. There are often multiple paths you can see from looking at the data, and it's up to you to make the best decision you can given the facts you have for your own business. So sometimes the data will show you a very clear path that you should take, but that's not always the case, and it's really not always the case with ads. Same is true with live launching. So we won't be launching again until January 2022, but at this point, I think I have enough data and knowledge of what I have to do between now and then to pursue the paid experience model at least one more time. And in a nutshell, this is why at the end of the day, I cannot be upset about the launch not performing nearly as well as we had hoped. You don't know what you don't know. I think this new model of launching has a lot of potential. And if I want to stick around for a long time in this industry, I have to be willing to try new things. So to close out this episode, let me do a quick recap of what went well, what could be improved, and what we plan on doing between now and the next launch. So 4 things that went well. 1, almost all sales came from our warm audience, which means we did a really good job cultivating our warm audience during the non-launch months. What went well? Number 2, our targeting was more dialed in with the paid experience. We really doubled down on the blogger and content creator as our key demographic. Number 3, attendance show up and sales conversion rates were at an all-time high. And number 4, we added a lower cost self-study option as a downsell after the launch was over, which proved to be a really big hit and something we're going to keep around. Now let's talk about what can be improved. 4 things under this as well. 1, warming up our Facebook purchase pixel, which we plan to do with a brand new offer we'll be running Facebook ads to starting 3 months prior to the next launch. Got to keep those pixels and tags for ads warm. That's just ads 101. And I know this. And it's not that I wasn't keeping my pixels warm. It was just that I was focusing on the lead and not on the purchase. So 2 of what we can improve. For the first time in a long time, we had no affiliate sales for this launch. This means we have a lot of work to do to improve how we leverage affiliates moving forward. Number 3, timing. The internet was still very quiet in August, more so than in previous years. I know January is the hottest month for engagement, so we hope this holds true for our next launch. And the 4th thing that we think could be improved is we need more qualified leads. Remember, 550 tickets is what we need to sell in order to hit our launch goal of 150,000. So here's what we'll be doing for the next launch. First, we're going to continue to offer a lower priced option with self-study. 2, we're going to increase our efforts for visibility, which leads to growing our warm audience, which then leads to more ticket sales. So I'm going to be working with a PR agency to pitch me to more podcasts, so to be on other people's podcasts. And I'll be continuing to show up on this podcast week after week. And I've been working very heavily on networking with people who have the same target audience with me. And I've been doing things with them, such as speaking at their summits. Now, the 3rd thing we'll do before next launch is fix that Facebook purchase pixel. And the 4th thing is we are going to double down on our best affiliate partners. So we need to do a better job at engaging our affiliate partners, our previous students that have been our biggest spokespeople over the last year, and really work with them to find out how we can help them help us, help them help us by promoting us. But then, we pay them for that. So it's kind of like a really nice opportunity for them to show love to us and us to show love to them. Okay, that was a lot. I hope this episode inspires you to look at your business differently. There is no such thing as a failure, only a learning opportunity. Just because the launch didn't go like I wanted it to, didn't make it bad. There is no linear path to success in online business. It's all about failing fast and picking yourself up and trying new things. I am so excited to see where the new year will take us. I'd love to connect with you and hear your thoughts on today's episode. Come connect with me on Instagram and send me a DM at monica.froese. That's F-R-O-E-S-E. Thank you for hanging out with me today, and I hope that sharing all of this with you has inspired you to go take some action. I'll see you back here next week, same time. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Empowered Business Podcast. If you want to get started creating your own digital products and don't know where to start, we have a brand new training that can help. It's called Passion to Profit: How to Discover Your Unique $1 Million Digital Product Formula. Head on over to empoweredbusiness.co/profit to join the training for free. Plus, we've added on a private podcast feed to make consuming the content even easier. You can choose to consume it via video or a private podcast feed. I can't wait to see you back here next week.